So hey guys, welcome to my review of Justice League issue number 7. In the last couple of issues of Justice League, we had the introduction of actually the Justice League forming together, where, Batman, Green Lantern, Aquaman, and all the other Justice League members had to form an alliance and a team to actually, take out Darkseid and his, his plan to overtake Earth or, and try to find his daughter and whatnot. But in the end, they took out Darkseid, and at the end of issue number 6, they finally are a group and a team together. They finally formed an alliance, all together. They're working together now, and that's when the Justice League is formed. And actually, in this issue, they are actually called the Justice League, not the Super Friends. Well, actually, they'd still call them the Super Friends. They just make that joke. But they don't call them the Super 7 anymore. They're actually called the Justice League. And in the opening of this issue, we see these kind of creature types. You actually can see it in the front cover. There's these creatures attacking these civilians. And then we actually find these creatures are actually, plant-eating creatures. And they're being, controlled or spawned off from this other creature called the Spore. And that's the Justice League's mission, is to defeat and capture and bring in the Spore. And after doing that, that's just their main focus of their mission, but it isn't the main focus in this issue. They just take him in, and after done with their mission, we open up with Colonel Steve Trevor, who's having a meeting with the press, and the press are just asking him questions, and someone asked him, our economy is going down, and the government will probably run better if the Justice League members run it. They're friends. They're really good friends, and they protect the world. They have, their rights and rules. Maybe they could do a better job than, the government is doing right now. And of course, Steve Trevor says, no comment. He leaves, and later on, he has a press conference with the Congress, government themselves, and then, they question, Steve, saying what is the Justice League doing? They're trying to keep tabs on them because, they spend all this money to support them and, supply them with food, electronics and whatnot, and they just want to keep tabs on them. Also, they feel like, since they're helping the Justice League, they feel like, they should be able to control them, right? No, the government always wants to do that. We always seen that, just like in Marvel's Civil War, where the government tried to reform the, Marvel superheroes and try to control them. But, the government wants to do that to, the Justice League. But of course, Steve Trevor defends them, saying they're superheroes. They got to do what they got to do, right? You can't actually control them. They're heroes. And, if that's what you want, maybe I'll tell them, threatening the Congress. And the Congress is like, oh, god damn, don't do that, you're trying to threaten us? And he's like, well, they can, overtake the government. And they can probably rule the world better than you guys can, They can probably do a way better job than you guys, because you're so corrupt and whatnot. And of course the government backs down, And later on, Steve Trevor, has a conversation with Wonder Woman, his, love interest, and sort of her love interest in the DC universe, but we don't know all that about that, right now. But we just saw, as he's talking with Wonder Woman, webcamming with her, we see the interaction with the Justice League and whatnot. And then in the end of this issue, we see a guy writing a story, and he's saying stuff about how he can destroy the Justice League, and there is no weapons needed because his greatest weapon is Colonel Steve Trevor, because Steve Trevor is, the liaison for the Justice League. Now, before I get on to the Shazam storyline that's introduced here, I want to talk about this issue. Now, I really like this issue because it brings up a lot of good points and sort of funny moments. One funny moment is when Batman is trying to, give orders to the Flash, Green Lantern, Superman, Wonder Woman. Green Lantern and Flash decide, let's just do our own thing. And they just run off and do their own thing, and Batman's kind of pissed. And he's like, looking at, Wonder Woman, Cyborg, and Superman, and Aquaman, and they're all like, just do whatever. He's like, I can't give you commands, whatever, do whatever you want. Now, it is a funny, moment in this issue, but it's also, a fact that still, the Justice League still is working as a team, but of course, no one can give them orders, so basically, so far, they do not have a leader. They still do their own thing and whatnot, they're still working as a team, but, they don't have a lot of rules set as, for them, strictly for themselves, and Batman, usually takes the initiative and tells them, what to do. or gives them plans and ideas of what to do, to save someone or whatnot. And then later on, it's addressed about the government trying to control the Justice League and how, maybe the Justice League can rule the government better. Now, that is actually brought up in another universe, in an alternate universe or parallel universe where they had Ultraman and, was it Night Owl? Or whatever those other DC superheroes like Superwoman, in those alternate universe, they actually do rule the government, and it's kind of interesting. They bring up a point here, how maybe the Justice League could rule the government way better than what the regular Congress people are doing right now. But yeah, and also seeing Steve Trevor's relationship with Wonder Woman is kind of edgy. And, just the relationship between the Justice League themselves are just so goofy and funny and whatnot. Hal Jordan's still Hal, the sarcastic, guy in the group. The Flash is, the guy who wants to typically want to, like, settle things calmly and try to get into people's, business and whatnot. And Batman's still the guy who tries to be the leader. But yeah, it's a very interesting issue. Even though nothing much happened, like I said, the main focus was just the Congress and the Justice League and Steve Trevor's relationship with them. That's the main focus, which is still good, We want to build up Steve Trevor's character, because since he's the liaison for the Justice League, you don't want to just brush him aside. But yeah, I'm really interested to see, what's going to happen next in Justice League because, they said that Steve Trevor is the greatest weapon to the Justice League and someone wants to take down the Justice League. And that's a new storyline for now. Someone's planning to take out the Justice League. Really like this issue. Now, I'm going to get into the Shazam storyline. Now, I have to say, I really did like the Shazam storyline. It was really interesting. We were introduced to Billy Batson. It's only a couple pages. But what's interesting here is that Billy Batson seems much of a dick. And, because we all know who Billy Batson is. He is, Captain Marvel, or he is, Shazam. And, generally speaking, Billy Batson was chose to be Shazam because of his purity as a character, He was an innocent child, but yet he was a good child. He wasn't corrupted in any way. He was a good person. That's why he was given the power of Shazam. Now, in the earlier parts of the pages, you were introduced to him, and he was a nice kid. He was like, I like reading, I like doing all these different activities. He's like a goody-goody two-shoe, right? But in the end, when the foster parents left, he turns his back and says, what a bunch of idiots. And I'm like, that's off character for Billy Batson. He doesn't act much of a dick in this issue, but he does come off as a dick by the end. And I'm like, what the hell's going on? This guy is going to be chosen to be Shazam? I thought Billy Batson is supposed to be a nice goody-goody two-shoe kid, What's with his attitude? Really? He's going to be chosen to be Shazam because I don't know. But I still found the story interesting. Well, maybe we'll get more story later on because, Justice League is going to have more storyline for Shazam. But yeah, a really great issue for Justice League. This is just a, started off, so if you guys didn't read the current last 6 issues of Justice League, you guys don't really have to. You can just read this right now. And it's just a whole new storyline, just with the Justice League members. So you guys can just pick this up and really not have prior knowledge of what happened in the last couple of issues. But still, suggest you guys picking this issue up. It's really great. I love Justice League. Really great storyline, even though they didn't have much action or nothing really has to do with the Justice League besides, Steve Trevor and the Congress members and his relationship with them. But that's about it. Really like this issue. Hopefully you guys pick this up. Hopefully you find this, review interesting or likable or helpful in any way. And, next up I will be reviewing Blue Beetle issue number 7. So talk to you guys later and hope you guys enjoy this review.